Completing a great video game can be so satisfying. However, even a fantastic game can leave you with a bad taste in your mouth if the ending is insulting, annoying, or just plain stupid.
I sold your life to save my own. I'm a loser.
Here are 10 games with endings that just make me want to hijack a time machine and hire a much more competent writer. Before getting started with this list, I just want to point out that I personally do not feel like Arkham Asylum's ending is a bad ending. I know that a lot of people seem to think that Joker taking the serum to turn into a giant monster is not in character for the Joker because I guess he would come up with some sort of scheme to stop Batman. But I have read quite a lot of comic books in my day, and the Joker doing something insane just because he wants Batman dead is totally in character for the Joker. So all you people who hate this ending, you need to go read Emperor Joker right now. Discussion over. The other ending that everybody seems to agree on as a really horrible one is the ending to the first Borderlands, where you finally get to the vault, and instead of getting to go see the thing that you've been trying to get to the entire game, a giant monster shows up. However, the thing that I have a problem with is the fact that when you kill the monster, you get millions of guns to pick up, and it just seems to me that the monster ate everything in the vault, and that the monster, for all intents and purposes in the game, is the vault. But instead of just going inside a cave and picking up shit, you get to fight a giant monster and then pick up all the weapons. So I don't really think this ending's that bad. Tell me what you think.
Now this is loot.
All right, now it's time for the main event. Let's count down
10 awful video game endings.
Number 10.
Mega Man 4. Among the best titles on the NES are the Mega Man games. While rather light on story, the action, fantastic controls, and outstanding music more than makes up for scant writing. The story for the first 3 games is that a good robot sent by a good scientist has to kill a bunch of bad robots led by a bad scientist. Good robot beats bad scientist, and the day is saved. The first 3 games of the Mega Man series end with Dr. Wily bowing in reverence and shame in front of Mega Man before the scene cuts. But at the end of Mega Man 4, Dr. Wily pleads for his life for a few seconds, and then he winks at the audience and slides out the adjacent door, obviously on his way to just go create more robot bosses for Mega Man 5. While Dr. Wily getting away is bad enough, and it is a wonder how he's been able to come to power 4 times in a row to begin with, it feels very insulting that he's so nonchalant about getting free, as if the developers are just taunting us with the fact that another game is coming. It definitely felt like Capcom started to take us for granted at this point.
Number 9.
Super Mario Bros. 2. When the sequel to Super Mario Bros. Was made, Nintendo didn't think that us Americans would be able to deal with how hardcore it was. So we got a reskinned version of a much easier game instead, which became the American Super Mario Bros. 2. While it does suck to be lied to, this game is actually pretty great. That is, except for the ending. After completing the game, we find out that all of the events of Super Mario Bros. 2, the reskinned version of Doki Doki Panic, was actually just a dream of Mario's, which really doesn't make sense, considering that we see all sorts of characters from Super Mario Bros. 2 that appear in other Mario franchises. There are Shy Guys in Mario Kart.
Number 8.
Apocalypse. So how do you put the cherry on top of a totally average game? Well, you give it a shitty ending, of course. This third-person shooter was published for the PlayStation by Activision and they thought they really had something big when they made a huge deal to get Bruce Willis to contribute his voice and likeness to the main character, who just happens to have the same first name as me. Isn't that great? So anyway, after taking out the final boss, there is a very short cutscene where you get to hear a voice saying that if you kill the evil, you are going to be taken over by the evil. And then that is exactly what happens to our Bruce Willis character, and I can only assume that this was supposed to be some sort of cliffhanger that was going to lead into the next game, but since nobody really gave a shit about this game, it never got a sequel, so that cliffhanger was never resolved. The end.
Number 7.
Mass Effect 3. Full disclosure, I deeply love Star Trek, and the Mass Effect series is the closest I think we've ever gotten to a real Star Trek game. The feature of the Mass Effect series, that your choices would change the story and outcome events, was just awesome, and the fact that you got to carry those decisions over to the next game was so unique and cool. However, at the end of the third game, you are merely presented with 3 different choices for an ending, none of which really feel like they are the culmination of your decisions in the series to this point, making one of the major innovations of Mass Effect feel completely pointless. Nice job, guys.
Number 6.
L.A. Noire. Being a big fan of detective movies and, of course, Dragnet, I was extremely psyched to find out that Rockstar was producing a game where you get to play the role of law enforcement for a change. The idea of interrogating suspects and looking for clues crossed with the gameplay of Grand Theft Auto sounded amazing. I was thinking sort of like GTA mixed with Phoenix Wright. Of course, what we got in the end was quite far from that. All disappointments aside, I was still able to enjoy L.A. Noire due to some of its unintentionally hilarious moments. What the fuck?
You are a modest little person.
Hey,
with much
such a
to
thing
learn.
as soap, you know?
You're a modest little person.
Son, you're a couple of shingles short of a full roof.
Come on,
Get him!
Cole, leave him alone.
We can do it. We can do it. Got him! Yeah!
Okay, okay. Is that enough?
Cop from the papers.
Val, leave him be.
Oh no! But the laughter didn't last all the way to the end of the game, because Cole's story takes a very depressing turn when his family is ruined due to an affair he has with a singer. He also gets demoted. Bummer. And then during the last section of the game, I kept wondering, what is Cole going to do to redeem himself, repair his family, and get his prestigious detective job back? Oh, nothing. He just ends up dying in the last mission. Wow. Way to crap on my good time, Rockstar.
Number 5.
Ghostbusters on NES. Wow. Speaking of things I love Ghostbusters. It's action, sci-fi, horror, and it's fucking hilarious.
Is this true?
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
As a kid in the 80s, this was the best you could get. The movie was awesome, the cartoon was awesome, and the video game is probably the worst game I've ever played in my life. In fact, when I rented it as a child, I couldn't even figure out how to get past the first screen. Seriously. years later, I discovered what a nightmarish slog this abomination really is. And what does one get as a reward for trudging through this boring and repetitive game? A single screen. Let's just look at that for a moment. Congratulations, you have completed a great game and proved the justice of our culture. Now go and rest, our heroes. That's poetry. I love how many wrong things they managed to jam into this single screen. You misspell congratulations. Nobody could have just taken a few moments to think maybe they need to proofread this? You have just completed a great game. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. And if you've ever played the game, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And then it says, proved the justice of our culture. Okay, let's ignore the spelling of the word proved, because that's obvious. And let's just go ahead and think about, what does this phrase even mean? Okay, so technically, I guess it kind of makes sense, even though it probably should have been proven the justice. But it sounds so awkward. It actually sounds more like a cultural translation was not made. Honestly, I'm an American, and I never hear people talk about our culture having justice. This sounds like something that a very well-meaning Japanese person wrote, not considering the fact that an American is going to be like, what the hell does that mean? And finally, now go and rest our heroes. I think possibly it should be go and rest, comma, our heroes maybe. But it sounds like it is commanding you to rest our heroes, which is very funny when you think about it, because it's sort of surreal, because it's like, can you rest a person? Like in the third person? Can somebody come rest me? Because I mean, if so, I need some rest. It is at least hilarious how bad this ending is. That's almost a reward.
Number 4.
Halo 2. The sequel to one of the most successful and influential shooters ever is arguably even better than the first installment in the series. The exciting story of Master Chief kicking all the ass there is, leading to the ultimate climax where he utters the most classic badass line in the entire game.
Master Chief, you mind telling me what you're doing on that ship?
Sir, finishing this fight.
So instead of a final level of ultimate sci-fi action awesomeness, we get a cliffhanger. Lame.
Number 3.
Doom 2016. Talking about badass sci-fi action. The first time I played Doom 2016, I was floored by how good the game looked. But then, when the first action sequence starts, and that awesome music kicks in, demon-killing violence at its best. I love it. Carving a Doom Guy-shaped path all the way through Mars and Hell is super fun until you get to the end and some robot asshole takes the mystical MacGuffin that you've worked the whole game for and he just teleports your ass away. Real nice. Looking forward to that sequel.
Number 2.
Crackdown. In the Xbox 360 exclusive, players are tasked with taking out 3 crime factions with a superpowered cop who works for an organization called the Agency, who, after the game is completed, reveals to you that you have been working for the real bad guys the whole time, and cleaning up Pacific City is just the first step in the Agency's new world order. There are endings like this that can be shocking and intriguing, but instead of being like, "Aw, damn, I've been working for the villain the whole time? That's crazy." It's kind of more like, "Aw, damn, I've been working for the real villains the whole time. I feel like a dumbass now."
Number 1.
Ghosts and Goblins. The ultimate in trolling the player with a bullshit ending. Capcom wins the golden middle finger for providing you with nothing but anger and aggravation for making your way to the end of one of the hardest games on the NES, when it is revealed that the final fight against Satan was merely an illusion? And now they want you to do the whole game again? No. Eat my ass, game. I beat it. I'm done. I just want to take a moment to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this list, please give the video a like and subscribe to be notified of future content. Let me know in the comments section what you thought about my picks and what games have endings that you despise. See you next time.
Don't worry about saying goodbye. I'm sure we'll be doing this all again soon enough. Get up, my bus.